Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Podcast The Motion Picture. Last week we discussed Minnesota Nights. We're picking right up from there for just a few minutes to cover a little bit extra ground. A little update. Here we are recording on July the 7th. It's not done, the editing, but we're pretty far in. I think I've got a total of like 25 minutes edited, and that's with like only a couple hours focused on it. Um, I'm gonna, over the weekend, we'll have a finished assembly cut that I can send around to whoever wants to take a peek at it for the actual sake of doing the homework of, is there anything out of place or wrong with this? Or, whatever little detail you might notice. An actual first draft, I'm going to have to include, some coloring on there. I actually have to do a bit of CGI work, which I don't want to have to do, but like I've been watching some YouTubes on it. We have a problem in a couple of shots in which you can see reflections in sunglasses. I've been watching on how to fix it. There's a very simple solution, but I have to CGI a crap, and I just don't like spending any more time on my computer than I have to, but there goes the rest of my summer.
We don't
That's
we don't have the budget for that.
No, that's okay. That's all right. It's really pretty darn simple, actually, the process. It's just the first time doing it. I've discovered some new techniques and whatnot through editing, so that's pretty cool. Now, I have an actual useful story here I'm going to tell. Useful bit of information for anybody out there working on a project on how to handle when something goes wrong with your project. Things come up every day when it comes to a film project. An actor suddenly backs out or something, or maybe their schedule has changed out of their control. Happens. Maybe your camera goes down. Maybe the SD card file's not on there. I'll actually give a side example here, not the thing. Engen, there's a line of your dialogue we did not get. When your guy pulls up on the bike, there's a line in there. We have the file shown. Like, I think we recorded it, but it didn't save properly, and it's gone. And I actually had to kind of edit some of the dialogue around, chop it up a little bit, and we're good. We're golden, and we get the same effect minus one line of dialogue. It is miraculous, but we
But
did it.
like, do you have the visual of it?
Nope, I don't have a visual. I don't have audio of it. I have
But
neither.
you think we actually recorded it
I
or
think we did. We have a file in the exact place where it should have been recorded,
oh
and
wow.
it's not a
Is
functioning
it
file.
is it the important one? Is it the last one?
Nope, not the last one. So no, like I said, we got it all, and I was actually able to get everybody else's in there. And it actually probably flows a little smoother with one less guy throwing in dialogue. Um, so we're
Nobody
saying
will even know
nobody will know except for the people that
unless
listen
they
to this. But these things come up. All right, a lot of problems come up. We had a problem yesterday. All right, so we recorded this a few weeks ago. The movie itself, we filmed it for the most part. Principal photography is actually a good wrap. Only two things remain: some shots in Boise, Idaho, and one shot in Rapids. Yesterday, in Grand Rapids, filmed some underwater stuff with Sam and Emily. And let me tell you this story, and then I'm going to get into how to deal with stress. Filmed some water stuff. They're not the stressful part. Filmed some underwater stuff on a GoPro. Boys, our days of filming movies in water are just beginning. It looks amazing. It is incredible. I am in love with filming in the water.
well, especially when you have a 4K GoPro.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what we filmed on? We filmed on a GoPro 5, and it still looked amazing.
Yeah, which is 5 years old
Yeah.
at least.
God, it was cool. So we filmed all this stuff, and my character in this is underwater looking for something, and I don't have goggles on, so I did a lot of recording yesterday with my eyes open underwater. It was pretty fun, actually, I gotta say. It didn't hurt. Pretty cool. So we filmed all that. Got it done. We took a lot of takes. Got it done. About 3:30's rolling around. I'm trying to get out of there. I got this mini SD card in a case this size. So a little teeny tiny SD card in a case this size. I've got it in my pocket. And I'm being mindful as can be, this SD card. I put it somewhere. I've got a
It's a
memory of it.
it's a non-zippered pocket.
Non-zippered pocket, athletic short non-zipper pocket, the danger zone of pockets, if you will. All right. So I'm, doing this and that, trying to get out of there, trying to manage it. I either put it in my camera case that has everything in it, or I left it on a counter, or it's in my pocket. I'm pretty sure it's in my pocket. I leave and I'm on my way home. Suddenly I got to brake really hard. My camera bay goes a flying. Everything's good. And whatever. Stopping for gas in McGregor. Stop for gas in wherever the heck, Mora, because the gas pumps in McGregor don't work. So, but they're working now, I hear. Anyway, so then I jet on down here to Rochester. I get here and I reach in my pocket. And the SD card, the mini SD card, is missing. It's gone. And I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm like, not in here. And I bring it all up in here. And this is that moment I'm telling you, audience, about when you're making a production, you gotta stay calm. You know what I did? I stayed calm. I stayed cool because you know what? There's options out there. When you don't get a particular bit of audio recorded and you need it, you can edit around it. You can find another way to get to the punchline of that bit of storytelling. If not, you can find a way. If you end up losing a bit of something you filmed, you can always film it again. As terribly difficult and awkward as it is, you can regather the means and resources to refilm whatever snippet you need. It's there. The possibility is there. Now, with this, did not panic. And I called my grandparents because that's where we filmed that. And I said, "Hey, Grandpa, can you take a peek?" And he said, "Yeah, we'll be right on it." So he and my grandma looked around for hours, didn't find it. And I had called to McGregor gas station and I called and said, "Hey, I may have lost something there." I left a message. I said, "May have lost something there. Can't find it." Um, and then this morning, my grandpa calls me, says, "I didn't find it. We kept looking. I woke up in a cold sweat 3 in the morning, and I thought, what if he got in a different vehicle?" I was like, "No, Grandpa, it was just in mine." He's like, "Okay." Thought so, just thought maybe. And anyway, I got a call from McGregor. They had it. They found it. So it all worked out. My mom drove down there actually because she was only an hour away. Drove down there, grabbed it. She's got it up north, so it's safe. And it's safe. And the whole time, I promise you, I did not break a sweat because there's always solutions when problems come up. Wherever you're at in a production, there's a solution. So yeah,
Thank you, Lynette. Thank
yeah.
you,
Mm.
Thank
grandparents.
goodness. Yeah, that was very lucky that it all worked out, but had
Thank you,
it not,
McGregor
Honestly, I,
gas
I I was
station.
really hoping you were going to end this by saying you filmed the water scenes in a tub, but I guess
got back here and had to pick up to do the extra water scenes. Anyway, that's my tale. That is my story in which the one fluke, one problem with production was almost a problem, but it wasn't. We avoided that.
Yeah.
And now, knock on wood, problem-free film yet. Problem-free. We're still in the golden age of this movie. There's not like nothing is making me crack. All right. Something else, I guess, here, let me, so I can get you fellas engaged. So we get some comments on our shorts, all right? We get some comments on our videos here, our long form content. People like it. We get some comments on our shorts. In general, do you think they're positive or negative comments from the internet?
Judging by my understanding of the internet, I definitely say they're positive. People are very nice on the internet.
Yeah, you know the internet. Well, for us anyway, lately, they've not always been the most positive. And I want to address, it's really obnoxious because I agree to be negative towards short form content. Are you three fans of short form content?
I hate it.
I hate
I
it.
like I like Instagram Reels.
Like I get, like I can engage and watch them, but like it's to me, it's such a burnout, brain rot, waste of time. People like it. I'm not shaming anybody, but like for me, I don't like
I
doing it.
am.
Yeah, yeah.
You should feel bad.
You should hate yourself for that. No, no. Um, so anyway, yeah, what kind of thought goes into short form content? Not much other than how do I put something on the screen that people are going to want to watch once or twice and then scroll. And if my stuff pops up again, how do I keep my audience retained? It is diabolical. I hate it. People leave comments in which they say, "What's the point of this?" I don't know. There's no point to it. I hate the short form content. I freaking hate the algorithm. I loathe it so much. And yet people want to point out, "Hey, short form content sucks." I know. Stop it. Don't tell me that. I'm on your side, okay? But we have to play by the algorithmic rules. That's how it works. Oh, drives me wild. And then there's also the thought of like, do you want me to placate our shorts? Like, do you want the way that I deliver dialogue in this podcast to be a way in which is more accessible for short viewership? Like, do you want me to begin a story and end my story within 30 seconds? So it's all one clean cut? Drives me wild. Anyway. Well, my silent friends, the time's coming for you to speak. I will relay my talking stick to Mr. Zach Engen with the movie Ron!
Ron, you can't.
No, Ron, you can't!
40th anniversary re-release this week that I watched last night. Jack is definitely a Kurosawa fan. I think Jack, have you seen all of them or most of them?
I've seen all his samurais.
Yeah. This was not my first viewing, and I was definitely this was his second color film, I believe. And yeah, I mean, this is just an absolute jaw-dropping, visually spectacular film. I mean, just the opening scenes alone is just like that is what I remember the most is those opening scenes and just the beautiful green hillsides and the um, Oscar-winning costumes kind of just absolutely popping out.
I gotta disagree with you there, boss.
What do you, you hate the scenery?
No, it's good.
Fuck the scenery.
It's just that the dusty ass castle has way better color usage. I'm just I'm just saying when the castle's burning down,
When did I say that the castle was subpar?
you didn't. You said
Yeah,
that the opening scene was the best your
I
favorite
didn't.
use of color. I'm
I
disagreeing
just
with you.
I just said that it like when I think about that movie, I'm always gonna think of that opening scene with those beautiful green hillsides. Like yeah,
You're
like
rogue.
the
No.
burning castle is, pretty much the climax of the film, but I mean, I'm just always gonna remember just how beautiful that landscape is in the beginning. And with my, first experience with, this Kurosawa film and his beautiful use of color and this one especially.
And I've it's been a few years since I last saw it. Can you remind me and our audience like what the story is for Ron? Or like who the characters are?
Yeah, so it's adapted from King Lear, Shakespeare's King Lear.
That's what
Um, you have
Let's remind
I'm
everyone.
not
So, what is King Lear for those that might not know about King Lear?
Do you want a very short, very, very short
I,
synopsis of King Lear
I'll take what I
and
can
or
get,
Ron?
man. I don't got a lot to
Okay,
work
so
with. Yeah.
essentially the story of King Lear slash Ron is there's this king
King
who
Lear.
rules out King Lear, and instead of giving his land to one son, the oldest son, he decides I'm gonna separate it to all my sons. And then naturally the sons start fighting, but each other for all the land. But in Ron, one of the key characters is the wife of one of the sons is actually one of the masterminds behind it. I can't remember her name, Engen. You know what I'm talking about?
I know who she is, but I struggled with names in this one.
But I haven't seen it in like a year and a half. But so yeah, it's basically just King Lear who wants his land, his country, or I don't even can't remember, feudal lands to grow, basically watches his sons kill each other because of greed, but also because he refuses to make a decision. So that's that Shakespearean
Yeah.
drama
Yep.
where, you know,
Kind of this tragedy that people can't really write
yes,
about.
it's a very much a tragedy,
I like
but it
tragedy.
looks good. It looks very good.
Is
It
it
looks
is it
so good.
is it Kurosawa's first movie in color?
I think it's the
No,
second one.
It's his second movie. What was his
Yeah.
first one shot in color?
It starts with the B. It was the one film right before this, as he like said, like it was his practice run for this one. I forget the name of it though. It
because
starts with a
he's
B.
done he's done a Russian color movie He's done Kagemusha. He did Dreams. I
Dreams.
think he did one more, but
Hmm.
much of
I
his
just
filmography is black and white. I think this
Mhm.
is his third adaptation of a Shakespeare, though.
Wow. Guy's a big fan of the Bard, isn't he? I
Was the film that you saw, was it a digital screening or was it IMAX or was it a
Film.
film, like film, 35 millimeter,
on
whatever
your
you
don't
shot it in?
phone.
yeah, I don't
On your
know.
phone.
I don't know if it was a remaster or a film. I couldn't tell you.
Because I remember Jack and I watched it. At least I watched it with Jack the first time around. It was that Criterion release, and that
The
was
4K
the blue.
re-release,
The blue was
4K
yeah,
remaster.
yep.
It's not on Criterion actually.
What did we watch it on then?
It's
Don't you
some.
own a?
I do.
I think
Excuse
it's
me as I
just
slide away out of screen
Well,
I
he's
very
think it's just a
sliding
slowly.
four
away.
I think it's just a 4K DVD re-release or remaster.
I wonder why it doesn't have a Criterion release. Then I just assumed it was a Criterion release.
It's
Speaking of
be, it's
Criterion,
owned by a different company.
hmm,
Yeah.
Criterion. I had a Criterion release related issue earlier. I was trying
It's by
to.
s- oh sorry, it's by Studio Canal. That's the people
Oh,
who own it. Yeah.
ah. I was trying to explain the movie The Passion of the Joan of Arc to the old timers at work. I was doing a history lesson and kind of got on the side tangent about The Passion of the Joan of Arc. It's this movie about the trial of the Joan of Arc. And I kept trying to find this movie that I was talking about, and it kept giving me this 1962 The Passion of Joan of Arc. And it's like, no, the Passion of Joan of Arc is an old movie. Like it's one of the first, the very early on kind of movie in which you tell this story and you have these effects and I kept it took me so long and I finally found it. It's a 1928 movie and I mean it for like 10 minutes straight. I was on like the last limb of my life and these old people with Alzheimer's were looking at me like I was losing my mind and I kept like coming up with different stories about it and details and they're like that's not real. I was like yeah, it is real. I just got to find it. Anyway, so speaking of movies that are not The Passion of Joan of Arc, but Shakespeare related, do you guys have a favorite Shakespearean story told and adapted through film? What have you got?
You want a serious answer or a jokester
I want an
answer?
answer. I want
I
an
want
answer,
I
man.
want a Jack Brainerd answer.
10 things
I
I hate about you.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that
That's a real answer.
Shakespearean?
Yeah.
Never seen it, and I don't really know Shakespeare. Which story is it?
I fucking can't remember. But it's Shakespeare.
Cool. Cool.
No,
Trust me, trust
I
me.
was gonna say the Romeo and Juliet, but when it's like with guns and
Yeah, I
stuff.
was
I love Romeo and Juliet. I love it.
the
Ron,
Leo one.
this one is the best. Ron is the best adaptation, in my
Cool.
opinion. It's so good.
Nobody wants to say Billy and Margaret. That's
No,
their adaptation. And
no.
we never did a Billy and Margaret too. I don't know how you guys envision that story. When I always think of what Billy and Margaret like movies are, to me, they are the Shakespearean adaptation franchise for us. I always envisioned Billy and Margaret, the next one would have been Macbeth. Macbeth's my favorite. That's what I always would have thought. And I think I would have had the lead character have been like Mac Dixon. So then it's McDixon. Anyway, because of the stories. Or Max Stedman, I suppose. Yeah,
McDonald.
McDonald.
Yeah, we did do a
Did you ever
Mac
watch that?
McDonald.
Did you ever watch
The
the latest
Denzel
version
one.
of Macbeth? Yeah.
I'm
That
not,
one
but
was,
I
that was
should.
awesome.
The
Cohen?
Cohen brother with
Yeah.
Denzel.
No, it's one of the Coens, not the Coen brothers. It's the one Coen.
The one that did
Yeah.
Garfield.
The Cohen brother.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
did not.
who do you think that Ron is made for? Who is its target audience?
Someone who's willing to sit down for 2 hours and 43 minutes in a different language. That the last half hour, 40 minutes. It's kind of like the resolution part, and holy cow, that was
Zach, it's
I
okay.
felt sitting there. I felt it sitting there in the non-recliner comfy seat.
Zach,
Yeah.
it's okay. Other languages aren't scary. Okay? You can watch them. They're not
I
insult. It's not it's okay, buddy.
I fully went
I
into
know
it,
reading
man.
is hard.
It sure is, especially when you have a freaking huge screen. You're trying to take in all these visuals. It is good that it was like mostly static long shots. Like most of and like a lot of these scenes were like, a few minutes long, just from one angle, and they're just all playing out all their lines all together. It was pretty amazing to watch. So it did make that part a little bit easier where I could just kind of look up and down between the breaks of the subtitles.
Good deal. I feel like I've got a movie I've got two movies I've actually watched in the last week, and I'm really a little bit upset that we began with Ron because talking about this Kurosawa masterpiece Ron based on a Shakespearean story, my movie options are garbage. All right, you saw the theater. I watched shit.
I can say this is I don't know, controversial. Not my favorite Kurosawa movie.
What is your favorite Kurosawa movie?
It's between Redbeard or High and Low, and
Is what we watched.
it's very, very hard to decide between the two.
We'll have to do an episode that's just like a bring your best Kurosawa takes. I think we'll do that one day. Like everybody can watch whatever Kurosawa 2, 3 movies they fit in like a month, and then we hop on and just break them down. What's the we watched, I'm pretty sure it's the Kurosawa movie, that 1950s movie about the Japanese utilities worker in government. You remember that one?
That's Ikaru.
That is Ikaru. Okay.
Ikaru, yes, that is like my number four.
Yeah.
That's that's
But
highly regarded as one of
he
his
does the
best.
same. So in High and Low, I guess we'll just talk about Kurosawa now. In High and Low, he does the same thing. And in Ikaru Read, where the last half of the movie basically takes place in one room,
Yeah.
he does that with High and Low, but it's the beginning of the movie.
Hmm.
And it basically takes place in one room of this guy's mansion for like the first 45 minutes.
That's
And
cool.
it's incredible. The
I do like
blocking, the dialogue, the way he blocks characters in a scene is genuinely like I don't know why everyone just doesn't mimic it because it's
Sometimes it's like that. It's like, why would anybody ever film something differently than how this is going? I know that feeling.
but I don't know. I feel like I like those other movies because people always I think there's two sides of Kurosawa and it's like the different levels of film snobbiness you want to go. Because you've got like your film people who just like watching Jurassic World. I don't know which one the new one's called.
Rebirth.
Rebirth.
Rebirth. And they're like, oh my God, that movie's fucking awesome. And they were like, no, you haven't seen Kurosawa's
You've
Seven
not seen
Samurai.
Kurosawa's Ron.
You've never seen this. And then there's the even lower tier where you're like, ew, you like think Seven Samurai is his best movie? No. But no, but there's two sides of Kurosawa where people always just associate him with as this guy who made really good samurai movies. And he actually makes really awesome like noir or like very like very good dramas where you're like, okay, cool, samurai, but then there's this super good like High and Low is basically a noir drama about
Police
this guy trying to
crime.
yeah, like it's about kidnapping. And it's like super gritty, it's super dark. Cole can attest to that,
Yeah, it's
where
terrific.
it's really awesome to like watch a movie from Kurosawa when it's like a little bit darker, more mature themes rather than which those are there in Seven Samurai, but you just watch Seven Samurai because it's like an action epic about seven samurai. If you
I'm
get what I'm putting down.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, I gotta do a deeper dive in Kurosawa, man, because like he's pretty good. I gotta say something out of college, like I got a subtle break. I got a minor in film studies from the great college of the University of Minnesota Duluth. And when people back in the day they go to college and they get like a taste for liberal arts, like before now liberal arts is this snowflake thing that people hate on. But like they got like this education in terms of like what is art and what are these classic writings and histories and how does it affect things. It's really this cool the interconnectedness of the whole world and how these different how we branch out in different ways and how things come back together and to have like that little education in movies to the point that like to know Kurosawa and to be able to like pick up on the subtleties of like what he's trying to do. And like I feel so lucky that I get to watch those and just like have had a little bit of teaching on it. Not that that's limited to like nobody else can do it, but just having that inside myself is very cool. So let's save Kurosawa for the next time, unless Jack, you want to retort with our classic film studies education you and I got
Well,
there.
I'd recommend Reed if you want to know the inspiration for, or one of the inspirations for Star Wars, you should watch The Hidden Fortress by
That movie's
Kurosawa.
awesome.
So if you want to know the behind, like what George was inspired by, you could watch that movie.
I should do that.
That one's a
Me
fun
too.
little romp. No, again, if you want to delve into good old Japanese cinema, you should now watch all
Squid
the
Game.
Godzilla. No, no, you should.
That's
That's
Korean,
All
I
of the
think.
Godzilla.
You should watch all the Godzillas. Fun fact, Mr. Engen. Like Honda, who directed the first Godzilla, I think that's who directed it,
A car.
act was actually the assistant director for many of the Kurosawa films.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But also, if you like these, if you want to delve more, I highly recommend any movie by Ozu. And he does more of the slice of life, slow burn dramas like Wim Wenders or um is it Wim Wenders who also did
Here's
what's the
text.
what no, he does that. Who did the one about
Gee,
Adam
I don't
Driver
know.
when he's a bus driver? That's a pull if anyone can pull that.
I've never
I have
heard
no
that
idea
one.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
When he's a
That
bus driver.
if I could pull that,
Hey, speaking of Adam
man.
Driver, if you guys get the chance to watch The Dead Don't Die with Adam Driver and Bill Murray, don't watch that. Just
Thank
pass
you.
over it.
Jim
Thank you. It's horrible.
Jarmusch.
Jim
Yeah.
Jarmusch. That movie sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
All right.
But
We got to move on from Kurosawa so we can be accessible, dude.
We're talking about Ozu.
Ozu. Watch
Everybody's-
green tea over rice or Tokyo Story. That's where I'm gonna end.
I
Life-changing.
will personally, to the first person that can prove to me that they've seen that movie in the audience, if you can message me and like hit me with a factual truth, do it. I'll send you something. Okay, probably tears. All right, moving on. I watched last week. Now that we're getting away from intellectual conversation, let's get into entertaining. So, reboot. Slashers are getting reboots. Coming up and not too long is I even still, to this day, am aware of What You Did Last Summer, the third installation into the I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise. Last week, I watched the second movie. I still know what you did last summer. It was pretty good, actually. I like that. Not good in terms of Kurosawa good, but very entertaining. It follows the same people about a year after the first movie. And I don't know. If you've ever seen the sequel to a slasher, it's like that. So,
Did they remake the first movie into like a TV series?
I think they did, and I think that's probably dropped now from the canon. I guess I don't know what is canon for I Know What You Did Last Summer now with the new people.
What's the new one called?
The new one, let me Google it for you.
I really still know what you did last summer.
I really.
I still.
Oh, you're going to hate this. The new 2025 movie is going to be called I Know What You Did Last Summer.
But it's not a remake though; it's a sequel.
Pretty
Is
sure,
it a
yeah.
reboot?
When five friends inadvertently cause a deadly car accident, they cover up their involvement and make a pact to keep it a secret. 1 year later, the past
Reboot.
But Freddie Prinze
stalked
Jr.
by a
is literally in
mysterious
it.
killer. They soon seek help from the two survivors of the legendary Southport Massacre of 1997.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a soft reboot.
Soft reboot.
Force Awakens.
So are we now, since Final Destination kind of made a decent amount of money, are we going to get a bunch of late 90s horror movies reboots?
Everyone's nostalgic for the 90s, so yeah.
Yep.
We're going to get a new Wrong Turn. I would watch that.
It should be called The I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Shut up. That's funny.
The I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Duh.
That's ridiculous.
The Final Destination.
I'll say as far as sequels movies go for slashers, and there's a lot of them, and I gotta say I think I've seen a lot of sequels to original slasher movies. I think I'm high on that list of. Anyway,
What did
it
you
would
like? You liked it?
if
What
I were gonna give it a out of 5 stars, I would say like 2.7. So certainly above the
So
midpoint, but not by much. But I don't like it's better than the average sequel to a slasher movie.
I
Um,
have to get into this your framework. What is your pinnacle of the slasher sequel? Because I know
yeah,
it's
what
not
should it do?
Halloween 2.
The best sequel. I'm so glad you asked this question. I wish Noah were here so I could have Noah on this podcast episode and tell him to go shut the hell up. I almost said the F word, but I didn't. Best sequel movie ever to a slasher, Scream 2. Scream 2 is without a doubt the most flawless piece of media that is a sequel. Like within so Scream movies are this kind of meta slasher movie in which they really comment on so much of the movie going on. And one of the dialogue conversations in this sequel is two characters having this ongoing conversation and debate about what is the best sequel movie. Like, you can't do any more meta than just directly addressing that and talking about, problems with sequels and how inherently you have a problem with the sequel, that you'll never be the first one. And you can be better, but you'll still never be the first one. It's just like, oh, it's nonstop. So yeah, Scream 2 is the pinnacle. Worst sequel movie I've ever seen, slasher wise. It's gonna probably have to be it's tied between Halloween H2O, which I don't love. No, not H2O. H2O I love. Halloween 8 Resurrection. I hate that one. I also very much dislike what is Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Chapter 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Uh,
Which one's the good one you always tell me to watch? Is that part 4 of Friday the 13th?
Part
so
Or is it
six.
part
part
6?
Chapter 6 is to me a standalone Friday the 13th movie that's like, this could just be a movie. Like, this could have been its own thing. Like, this is really, it's good to watch. Like, it's fun. Obviously, it's a, 80s slasher, but like, it's fun. Like, I dig it.
Part, yeah, it's
Those,
genuinely awesome.
yeah, like seriously, it's campy in the right spots and then like scary in the right spots. And a couple of campy parts that could have been on. The first 4 chapters to the Friday the 13th are really sweet and really important to watch each of them so you can hit that pinnacle of like Noah always uses the expression of Friday the 13th part 4 is the most Friday the 13th those movies get. And he's very right. That Friday the 13th part 4 is like if you were gonna say like this is it, that's the one. Even though I don't think it's the best. It's just the most Friday the 13th-esque. So yeah. So yeah, I think I'm pretty darn good at commenting on other people's sequel movies. Oh, Halloween Ends is also the biggest pile of dog shit sequel I've ever seen in my life. That should not be sellable. Like nobody buy that ever. Don't even watch it. Alrighty,
Which one's
well,
Halloween Ends?
Halloween Ends is the third movie in the what is it, David
Okay.
Gordon Green's
Yeah,
franchise.
I haven't seen the last 2. I never got around to watching those.
You never saw Halloween Kills?
No, I all I saw from Halloween Kills was the montage of him killing everyone. But
Evil dies tonight.
yeah,
Evil
that
dies tonight.
That's my
but
favorite
no,
line in the whole movie.
I never got around to watching those. I watched the first one and I was like, "Oh, that's a fun little reboot." And then
That's
they're like,
I love it.
we're making 2 more." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm okay."
The way they go about that sequel on Halloween Kills, like boy gee, did they ever nail doing a sequel to a reboot. Like, God, they carried it on strong. And then they did Halloween Ends, and it was as though they said to themselves, what if we throw away everything that we've thought of and done? And what if we make a Halloween movie without Michael Myers in it? So, yeah.
Whoa, boss.
Don't say it.
Whoa, boss.
Don't
Because
say
the
it.
best sequel of Halloween, in fact, does not have Michael Myers in it.
That's right.
I know, but that's different because it's intended to not have Michael Myers. This one is like Halloween Ends, Michael Myers, the finale of Michael Myers. And then it's like, Where the heck is Michael Myers? You said he was going to be in this. You said he'd be here. That's like The Last Jedi, and then it's like there's no Jedi in this movie.
This Friday the 13th, is that part 5 or 7 that also doesn't have Jason? Is that part 5?
Yes, technically, yes. There's a Jason Voorhees person, and I don't want to spoil Friday the 13th, Chapter 5, A New Beginning, but there's
From
something
40
to
years
it.
ago.
I'm not gonna spoil it. It's something. I should probably could spoil it because I think if anybody watches it, chances are they're not gonna understand what the twist is because it's so lame and
Crazy.
underwhelming.
5 is so fucking stupid.
It's grown on me a little bit, but it's really dumb and bad. Like it's not fun.
It's so dumb when they're like, there's a part where like they're in like a cabin and like the hillbillies are like screaming. It's so ridiculous. This is Friday the 13th. There's hillbillies.
Ripping around on that thing, yeah. Oh,
Then there's the dude that he
mama.
there's yeah. There's the dude that eats the enchiladas and has to take a shit.
Yeah.
Damn
Reggie
it.
the Reckless?
These damn enchiladas.
Hell yeah. Oh God, I love that. I love damn enchiladas. That old guy that says ratatouille at one point in the movie. Classic as well. Yeah, I actually was on the hunt for that movie for a long time. I think first time I saw it was when I was, and I only saw like probably 20 minutes when I was probably about like 7 or 8. For the longest time, I always thought about it because there's this scene from it that's particularly a cool scene in which this guy ends up upsetting this other guy and gets chopped to death by it. And as a kid, I thought, geez, that was pretty hardcore. Like we went from point A to B really quick. So there's spots in it. All right, moving on here. I guess we'll keep this flip flop, flippity flopping back and forth here while we can. Coming in hot, it's Zach Engen to talk about his concluding thoughts on Andor as he just finished the series. Don't spoil it.
Don't spoil.
Dude, that's why it's tough to talk about it because some people, Jack,
And people
can't
that
get
are
on time.
listening to this as
Well,
well.
listen, Mr. Ringen. I'm a staunch anti-new Star Wars, Disney, Marvel. I just haven't
Hater.
seen any of the new stuff. I think the most of the new stuff I've seen before Andor was when I lived with Reed and Noah, and I would walk through the living room, and they'd either be on the first episode or something, or the last episode or something. So I have seen the first episode of not Captain Falcon. That is a Smash character
Fuck.
of Bucky and the Falcon or whatever it's called. And the
Falcon
last
Winter
episode,
Soldier.
yeah. And then
That's a good show.
the first episode of season 1 of Mandalorian and the first episode of season 2 of Mandalorian. Apart from that, I have not watched any new Marvel or Star Wars
You
yet.
haven't watched any of the Mandalorian show?
No.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
really lame, actually.
It's fine.
No, I
Well,
like.
you could
No, I
you
disagree.
could watch you could watch season 1. That's about it.
Season one
I
and
agree.
two, actually.
I agree.
I can't bite into it. I don't
It's
like the
not worth it.
Mandalorian.
It's not worth
You
it.
I don't
never
like him.
fucking watched it. What do you mean?
I watched one episode of it. I don't like
Jesus.
he just sits there with his helmet and he's like, Baby Yoda, and you're like, oh,
He doesn't even say
cool.
that.
I know he doesn't.
Baby
Grogu
Yoda.
or whatever the hell
Baby
it's called.
Yoda. Baby Yoda, go!
I think
I
think
choose you.
if I was to say, yeah, I agree. The first season's probably worth it. Season 2, episode 1 rocks though. That episode's
Yeah.
so good. And there's a few sprinkled in there, but
I think
it's
the
like
majority of season
diminishing
2's good.
diminishing returns. I do not like the season 2 finale. I really hate that one.
I like it, but I don't like what it leads to. Like, it definitely sets them up for failure in the future. I'll say season two's flaws, like, yeah, I think if I recall, there's like 2 episodes that feel like, this ain't it, Chief. Like, I feel like we're doing this weird little side tangent that's just like not quite it. And then season 3, they were like, what if all the episodes were terrible, like those 2 episodes from season
What if
2?
everything was bad?
No, this is a hot take. Don't murder me for this, Reed. I think appreciate the Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka more if you're a fan of the cartoon. and I have not seen the cartoon in like 12 years,
Nah,
and I'm not going to.
I don't think so, Chief, because I hate those shows.
Okay. I didn't know
And
if you were the
you're
fan or
referring
not.
to
I
Clone
don't like Dave
Wars.
Filoni, so like I
I do like Dave Filoni, but I think we're past the golden era of Dave Filoni. Like I think he had his thing, and I think he got a couple of good ones off afterwards, but like I don't see him doing good Star Wars anymore. I think
that
I'm out.
comment did piss a lot of people off, whoever listens. There will be someone who listens to that and goes, "This guy's an asshole." But I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I feel guilty going against the man, but like, that's how it works. Like but George Lucas put out three masterpieces in the early 2000s. Like he's not doing it again. He got his three out.
Can
now he's out of the game.
Can I make,
Uh,
before Ingen talks about his thoughts, I'm on episode 9 of season 1. It's been a slow watch. I'm
The
liking
last
it.
one,
I
the last
actually like
one,
it.
it's the last one we were watching was when Skarsgård delivers that epic monologue at the end of that one episode, and they when he
you
escapes
watched
from the
that with
prison.
Jack?
Yeah, I watched that with him. Freaking awesome.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
liking it so far. I think I I think it's funny because I think inside of George Lucas's brain, this was the politics he was writing when he wrote the the prequel trilogy of Star Wars, and then someone took it and was like, "Here's how we actually write good politics writing and an
And drama.
interesting world and
yeah.
drama."
Like he
No.
did it. Like he really did a good job of drawing up like that whole thing of democracy getting turned into dictatorship. He did it, but he was like, what if I make this inconceivable? What if I make it so nobody understands anything that's going on? And it will take an entire 8 seasons of a cartoon show to explain everything that happened. What if we do that? And then this other guy was like, nah, we'll just do it now. Like we'll use English. It's fine.
We'll use English,
All
big,
I need is $650
simple
million
plot.
dollars in six
Yeah.
Exactly.
years.
The Nemoidians, what if the Nemoidians are not an allegory for the Japanese in World War II? Like what about that? What if we do that? What if it's
What
just a person?
what if they weren't racist?
Yeah.
Like
What if they just talk normally and they're the bad guys? What
Do
if
the
they
do,
spoke in English and are villains?
do the Bothans come up in season 2? Because I haven't heard of. We lost many Bothans getting this information. Where the hell it's called? Do
many
you
I
know?
Bothans died to bring
Yeah,
us
that's
this
the
information.
line.
I
That's
like
Mon
to
Mothma.
I like to think the Bothans might be different. What is a Bothan? What
We don't know what a
is
Is
I don't
is
know,
the
but
cat.
is the actress of Mon Mothma the same as in the prequel trilogy?
mm,
Is
Cut
she in the
way
prequel
back.
trilogy?
um
She was gonna be in Revenge of the Sith, but they cut her scenes, and then they
Hmm.
recast. They got her for Rogue One, and then it's the same actress, I think, for Andor.
Hmm.
no, I like it. I like how it's actually taking time to develop a story and meaningful characters and
Yeah,
steps.
that's a hell of a great thing about TV and well-made
Exactly.
TV. You have the time.
Miss Genevieve O'Reilly was the Mon Mothma that they used in the prequels, but yeah, she got cut out of it, so she did get the chance to come
So
back.
she was never
She was never in
shown.
Nam.
Wow.
Maybe I guess it could be one of those things where you'd see her in a background of a shot just because she
Yeah.
was in the area. But so I think as per this Star Wars thing here, maybe I'm in Legends. I think canon. Here we got canon. That's what you want here. Bothans were a group known for operating a spy network. Bothan spies were credited for obtaining information concerning the location of the DS2 Death Star 2 mobile battle station. Despite suffering heavy casualties, thereby ending the Rebel Alliance to plan an attack on the unfinished space station. Now, I'm not seeing anything here where they talk about the species of it in canon. So, in my mind, canonically, a Bothan is a group of people and not a species. And that's what they're talking about. But that's just me. Wishful thinking. But Bothans are, you can play as them in Battlefront too. So, but that's non canonical, if you will. All right, well, Engen, get to work on not spoiling the show. I got a
Yeah.
question here.
Well, I'm
Godspeed.
glad Jack is watching it. I'm glad he's liking it. I mean, this is different than any other sequel Star Wars um, content that has been made. This is on paper, this is a spy espionage political thriller mixed with Star Wars. So like on paper, this is like theoretically my like should be my favorite show of all time. Because it mixes like all my favorite genres into one. And it's honestly so highly rated in my mind. It's I mean, you can tell that he spent $650 million making this show, and he used every dollar in the best way possible. I mean, it just looks and sounds so good. I think there's an argument to be made that Stellan Skarsgård is the most important character in the
Oh
show, and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
and he drives it more than Andor itself. I feel like Andor was kind of just like the most fun character that Tony Gilroy could, create a story off of from Rogue One, and had that, catchy name and fun storyline to follow. But I think, yeah, Luthen Rail really, drives this story. And is probably the most important character. And if he wasn't there, it wouldn't be the same. That is for sure.
Yeah, no, anytime Stellan's on screen, like there was not like honestly, I'd be watching so much of it, getting through it, and there'd be times in which when Stellan gets on and I'm like not 100% eyes on, we're like, oh shoot, I gotta go back to the very start because I can't miss a word that Luthen says. Like that guy, I don't say he steals the show, but like, man, that guy kind of is the show in a way. Like he definitely escalates what is already a very well written piece of something. Um, did you have a peak story throughout it all? Like something that to you was like, this is this is it? What part about it to you out of all those different things? Not just the theme of, spy thriller, but like what going on? What happening?
No
I
spoilers.
Yeah, I like season two more, I think. I think the stakes are higher. Everything's, coming to the end point that we all know that is coming. And I think it's episode, yeah, 8, 9, 10 of season two is the best episodes of the series, I think.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's kind of the peak of it all. And it seemed like kind of the last two of season two was kind of more resolution working towards Rogue One. So I really think 8, 9, 10 of season two is the pinnacle. And those were my favorite episodes. I mean, when you have those, you know, far-reaching political commentary and monologues that um, Mon Mothma and Luthen have, and then you have, some very in-depth action sequences and, you know, in-depth espionage stuff that Andor is doing. Those are all combined in those three episodes, and it's the pinnacle of it.
I'll say for me, I completely agree with season two being this much higher stakes, I think is why it gets me going. Um, as well as, yeah, they were able to kind of speed things up in a way, not speed things up like we're skipping past things, but where you kind of are on this trajectory that you're stuck with. Um, but I'll say to me, the best chunk of it is whatever the arc is. It's kind of a big part of season two story. But on the planet of Gorman and the just the different the threat of the Empire there, as well as the storyline of potentially building up this kind of ground scale. Like how do we counter the Empire being here? Um, to see that story told in Star Wars, like if you watch the Clone Wars show, if you watch the movies, if you watch Star Wars Rebels, you'll see that same thing happen. But like this one is just that really, really slow things way down, miniature scale, and you just are you get to realize how every single person on a team like that matters from whatever job you're doing when it comes to affecting society. Like everybody's important to that task. Like you can't leave a stone unturned. So, like, God, I think they nailed that. That was, as Luther would say in Mission Impossible 8, magnum opus. So that's where
And
I'm
he
at.
definitely makes it, so that it's very, you know, relatable to, current times itself as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to navigate thoughts of, power control and shifting things. And yeah, it's very a topical story for the here and now, which I think is super important. That it's certainly the most on top of like a current event type of conversation because I mean even the dawn of Star Wars, when Star Wars 1 come out, 77, that's 30 years almost, 30 more than 30 years removed from World War II Nazis. So, Lucas is telling a story about space Nazis back then, and here's this guy on Andor like I don't know, a couple of weeks ahead of his time a little bit with some of these things as they come up. I'm sure if I were to watch it again, I'd probably notice even more things where, yeah, that guy. And you know what? I really hope fans leave that guy alone. He said he doesn't want to do any more Star Wars. Let him go away from
Yeah,
Star Wars. Like
for sure.
yeah, he
Mhm.
did
Don't
it.
don't make another Michael Clayton, please.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
make
that's
something
so
else like that.
bizarre that he made Michael Clayton. I don't know if you're
Glad
huge
glad
Michael
he
Clayton
did.
Gotta
fans.
Google
Glad he
what
did.
is Michael Clayton.
It has a I haven't seen I haven't seen it in a hot
This
minute.
guy made Michael Clayton. I don't know what this is. The truth cannot be trusted.
What was I gonna say? No, I am aware of the buzz online around this show. I think it's funny that people becoming politically conscious after watching Andor and finally, I don't know. I just think it's funny that,
Like,
fascism is bad is kind of like a universal topic. And people going, sitting down watching Andor and being like, I don't like this Emperor guy. Like, and then it's like,
I don't agree with this situation at
the
all.
Empire is bad? What?
didn't have
Who
an
would have
opinion until
thought?
Oh.
didn't really have an opinion until they started talking about this thing called the Death Star,
The Death
which I learned.
Star, the
I didn't know what it
Emperor?
did until I didn't know what it did until I figured it out. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it does
I
that. That's bad.
I thought it was just a station. They said it was just going to be a space station called the Death Star. Now
What
these
So does
the?
it make?
stormtroopers, I like them. Troopers that are going to prevent storms. Like that's what we need, less storms. Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I think this is probably the third time we've talked about Andor. So, and just wait till I get going. And I guess we'll wrap this up on something I watched over the last couple of days. Maybe you guys have watched this. Maybe you haven't. I'm liking to think you guys probably haven't seen what I'm about to talk about, nor will you ever want to. The Last Witch Hunter, starring Vin Diesel from 2015. No, nada.
I know what it
Well,
is. I'm surprised you're watching it.
well, we threw it on. Let's see, after the 4th. So I worked the 4th of July. About halfway through the day, I got off early. So then I had to drive up the 4.5 hours, turned into about 5. And then, so I got there about 6 at my grandma's, had about a good 3.5, 4 hours hanging out. Then we went back home, and me and my brothers and Connor's girlfriend and my mom sat down. We're looking for a movie. And the girlfriend Hannah says, "Ooh, The Last Witch Hunter, that's a terrible movie." So naturally, we picked that one. So we throw it on. And you know what, gang? I actually dig it. You know what I did as soon as I got done with it? I Googled, will there be of The Last Witch Hunter 2? That's how in I am. It was such a refresh from Vin Diesel making a movie where he's gonna drive a car off a skyscraper and into a puddle that's actually the ocean. So much do I hate that. And then seeing Vin Diesel in this, like he's just another Dom Toretto type character, but he hunts witches. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's good. I'll say, as far as storytelling goes, it's not very good. Like a lot of times when there's a problem, there's just now a solution that Vin Diesel didn't have to talk about till now. So it's very much like and then Vin Diesel has a solution, and then Vin Diesel has a solution. And I don't really dig that. I like it when you establish something and then you get to come back to it. That's kind of fun part of the puzzle solving equation of movies. So anyway, who would that movie be for, if I might answer? Anybody who knows how to have a good time.
Was that in the era of like Hansel and Gretel like movies when they were like, we're gonna make Hansel and
Around the
Gretel be
same
like,
time.
yeah, monster hunters and shit stuff.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Hey,
Maybe
horrible
this was
movie.
his first movie after, no, after like the Fast and Furious when Paul Walker died? Isn't the first one after him, maybe?
Maybe
I don't know. I feel like it was
2015.
before.
Paul Walker. It's me Google Paul Walker. Now,
I feel like
Hansel
he
and
went.
Gretel came out in 2013. This is a 2015 movie. Paul Walker, death.
I feel like it was way earlier.
2013. So I'm
Well,
sure he
maybe not.
probably would have had a movie in there at some point. Or Paul Walker. Yeah, that sucked. Speaking of
Well,
people who died in car accidents, on the IMDb, if you want to find Ryan Donnell, you have to type in Ryan Dunn. So every time I look at Ryan Donnell on IMDb now, I have to look at Ryan Dunn. So thanks
if
for
that's
Ryan.
just what pops up
Rip.
first, or what?
Well, yeah, he's the.
I see.
Well, if you type in specifically Ryan Dunn, then you end up looking at Ryan Dunn,
Yeah.
and then you got to scroll to get to Ryan
Just,
Donnell.
just gotta type really fast.
Fucking don't look at God dang it. I don't need to be sad right now.
Cole,
All right.
is the reason that you dislike Rogue One on your first reading so much is because of the CGI of Grand Moff Tarkin?
No, I think
Because
I
because
think I
that
did.
kind of did bother me on my rewatch here
It's
this
bad.
week.
It hasn't held up whatsoever.
You want to know why
Um,
I don't? I have middling reviews of Rogue One.
Why?
It's the same issue with Revenge of the Sith. It's
Oh, it's a
better
good
now that you have
movie.
that it's better now that you have all the backstory before the movie, and then you can
I
watch Rogue One.
Now, Revenge of the Sith was an A+ movie when it came out. It hasn't gotten any better, hasn't gotten any worse. It is
It's a
just its
bad.
own great movie.
You get what
um
I'm putting down, though. You get.
I don't
Do you
think I
understand?
do, buddy.
Ah,
I don't think
I,
I'm even able to understand.
again, I think it was because I didn't like the characters that much. Or when I came out, I can't really tell you a thing about any of them. I
I
think that would
will
No,
I will
it
back hold up actually. I do remember that was back in what 2016. You very much were on that point then. So yeah, he's not bluffing.
yeah. No, I feel you. I
because
feel you too.
seriously, like when they announced that an Andor show was being made, it was like a surprise. It was like, why are they making it off that character? And I had no like I had no interest whatsoever, and I never watched Andor for a long time until I heard like the rave reviews about it. So like when they announced they were making a show about it, it was like, really, that fucking guy? Like he wasn't interesting in that movie.
I remember them doing like the photography shots of like I think Mando, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and then Diego Luna as Andor, and the show hadn't even been filmed yet. And they're like doing these shots, and it's just like Diego Luna up there with those like three people that are really hyped up, and then like Andor.
Yep.
Like,
but okay,
God, it was
can
weird.
I
we? There was debate.
I never would have guessed that the Andor show would be the best fucking thing since Empire Strikes Back.
Well,
Like
Yeah.
seriously, I never would have guessed.
well, you can kind of admit that Andor is a horrible name for the show. Like genuinely,
Yeah,
it's not a good name for the show.
it shouldn't. It's not the Andor show, like you were saying, Zach. It's there's got to be a better name. It's not the Andor show.
It's really weird when they do that. They do it like the Ahsoka show. They did it because Ahsoka, like, that's gonna get a bunch of Ahsoka fans, but like, there's no Andor fans. There was
Right.
Diego Luna was the one Andor fan, like just him, and nobody else really thought about him. Like he's
Where,
fine, but
where's our Andor stands from 2016? Who is
Yeah,
standing?
where are they
Who is
at?
standing Cassian Andor?
I
they've been
I think
white.
it was just
2016.
able to connect it to that movie. So
Yeah,
I think it was just.
yeah.
I mean, it
I
does focus around him, obviously,
Right. Never would have
and
thought that it
that's
would
what
have
they
been.
wanted to do. So
I gotta get Maddie through the rest of Twin Peaks, and then I think Succession, and then I think I'm gonna have her watch Andor. Like, I can't, in good conscience, not have her watch Andor just because it's Star Wars. Like, she has to see the story. It's so good. Like, she's got to know how things go. Like, just from start to finish, what this thing is. Like, I don't think a person should go through life without seeing Andor the show. It's
my
pretty
dad
darn
watched
cool.
it. My dad watched
Sweet.
it. He binged it in like 2 days.
Yeah.
He
Reed, you
watched
are
it. He
aware.
watched it before I did.
Reed, you are aware that I was spoiled a very crucial moment of Twin Peaks season 3.
I think,
Don't
yeah, I think
spoil.
you told me. It actually popped up while I was scrolling, while like I was doing the Instagram scrolling. Big fan of Instagram scrolling, as we've covered. And I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. That popped up while I'm sitting with Maddie. It's like, Jesus, God, I would rather it be like nudity. Like, stop. Like, no. God dang it. No, not that. Anything else. Anyway.
For real.
That Succession watch is gonna be fun for you.
Yeah, we're
Succession's so freaking good.
It
You're going,
is top 3 show of all time for sure.
we are
Probably
should
halfway
watch
through
it.
season 2. It's really good.
it's so funny. It's one of those shows too that actually gets better with each season too.
Oh, yeah.
I think season 1, the first few episodes I think are the weakest, and it just picks up instantly and it just carries you the rest of the way. It's so good.
They film it like the camera operators kind of actually like leading the scenes. Like they have to like start talking like when he like is moving into shot. It's almost shot like almost mockumentary-esque, where it's kind of like always kind of moving and like hiding behind people, blocking different people, and like just cutting to people during different reactions. It's really a uniquely shot show, and it's really cool that way.
Mhm.
Well, we're going to have to wrap up because we're at time, as much as I actually really would dig hopping on a Succession conversation. Have you 3 all seen Succession all the way through? Jack, no. Jack, I don't understand. Who are you? What do you do? Stop being the way you are. Watch one of these goddamn shows, man.
Hey, he's
No.
watching it right now.
I'm
No.
watching Andor right now.
He's on it. Yeah, sorry. I flew off the handle. Remember when I talked about managing stress in a production? All right, well, I've lost it. All right, okay. Let's wrap it up. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, there'll be more stuff. There'll be another Minnesota nice thing next week to talk about. I'm hoping to have a trailer within the next 2 weeks. A teaser trailer, mind you. God, it's
Short
gonna be great.
teaser.
Oh, it's gonna be good. All righty. Let's wrap this up. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later. See you around. Yeah. Bye. Hold on. I'm not done yet because I almost hold on. And bye. That was a whole episode of the Whole Other Podcast. It's over now. The podcast is done.